In the 1923 season 2 finale, there's a moment that leaves us all breathless, a grand ball in England. A reunion that seems almost too perfect to be true, and two lovers who, despite death itself, find a way back to each other. It's a scene that blends beauty, heartbreak, and the timeless struggle of being caught between love and fate. But what does this moment truly mean for Spencer and Alexandra, and for the larger 1923 universe? The English ball scene isn't just a reunion. It's a symbol, a revelation, and the emotional crescendo of everything that's come before. Let's dive into the depths of this stunning finale moment and uncover its true significance. The English ball scene in the 1923 finale isn't merely about two people dancing. It's a metaphor for everything Spencer and Alexandra have endured. Their love story has been marred by distance, death, and constant separation. As viewers, we've watched them struggle with the weight of war, family expectations, and the looming shadow of mortality. And now, in this climactic moment, they're together again, but not in the way we expected. It's important to remember the journey that's led to this point. Spencer, a man forged in the heat of war, has spent much of his life running, fighting, and trying to survive. His love for Alexandra has always been a beacon for him, something to hold on to when the world felt too dark. However, it is insufficient to protect them from fate's cruel hand. Alexandra, on the other hand, has fought for her place in Spencer's heart, pushing against the societal constraints of her world, the expectations of her family, and the oppressive weight of duty. Their love from the very beginning has always felt like it was on borrowed time. We are not just watching a reunion when Spencer and Alexandra finally meet at the English ball. The culmination of years of suffering, longing, and sacrifice is before us. It's a surreal moment, almost dreamlike, because it defies all logic. It seems too simple to just have them back together after everything they've been through, including his return from war, her death, and their separation. But that's the point. This isn't a reunion in the traditional sense. It's something beyond that. It's a reunion in the afterlife, a moment where time and reality bend, where love triumphs over everything else. The ball itself serves as the perfect setting for this moment. It's a place of elegance, of refinement, and of things left unsaid. The grandness of the setting highlights the disparity between Spencer and Alexandra's lives before death. They were born into privilege and wealth, but they never shared those luxuries together. They were denied the joys of a peaceful life. And now, in the afterlife, they find themselves in a world where nothing can keep them apart. But this scene isn't just about love or reunion, it's about freedom. Freedom from the burdens that life imposed upon them. In the real world, they were always being torn apart by forces beyond their control. Spencer's duty to his country, Alexandra's obligations to her family, and the societal pressures that constantly push them away from each other. But those restrictions are gone in the afterlife. The weight of their past lives is lifted, and they are free to be with each other without fear, without hesitation. The music is more than just an accompaniment for them as they dance in that ball. It is the beating heart of their love. Even though they were miles apart, it has always been the same rhythm. They have been reunited, but their freedom is more important. It's a moment that transcends everything we've come to expect from their story, a moment that challenges the very nature of life and death, love and loss. We can see the real essence of their relationship here. It wasn't just about surviving together in a harsh world. The story was about a love that stood up to the odds and refused to be silenced, even when death came. The English ball isn't just a place where Spencer and Alexandra find each other again. Free from the constraints of time, place, and circumstance, it is the location where their love is fully realized. In the next section, we'll delve into the deeper symbolism of the English ball scene and how it reflects the broader themes of the show, especially the idea of destiny, fate, and the eternal fight for love against all odds. The English ball scene is one of the most poignant and symbolic moments in 1923. At first glance, it might seem like just another lavish high society event, a grand ballroom, flowing gowns, and swirling dance partners. But beneath the surface, the ball represents something far deeper. It's not just a place where Spencer and Alexandra reunited, it's the manifestation of everything they lost, everything they fought for, and everything they'll never get to experience in life. As a visual representation of both what Spencer and Alexandra have missed and what they are now free to enjoy in the afterlife, the ball itself is drenched in symbolism. In life, they were trapped by their circumstances. Spencer was a soldier, a man of duty who spent most of his years in the trenches, battling not only enemies, but the unyielding expectations of his family. Alexandra, on the other hand, was confined by her position in society, the rigid constraints of her aristocratic background and her family's demands. They never got the chance to live the life they had always wanted to live together, one that was full of love, adventure, and the pleasures of living in peace. But none of that matters in the afterlife. Their chance to have something they've never had before is at the ball. It's almost as if the universe is giving them a final gift: freedom. And this freedom is represented by the splendor of the ball, the opulent setting, the elegant atmosphere, the soft glow of the chandeliers, and the music that echoes through the room. If fate hadn't been so cruel, all of these things would represent the life they could have had. However, it also symbolizes what they have accomplished in the afterlife, a moment of perfect union and peace, in which nothing and no one can separate them. As Spencer and Alexandra move across the floor, the beauty of their movements mirrors the beauty of the love they share. It's fluid, graceful, and effortless, everything their relationship was never able to be when they were alive. They're no longer hindered by the constraints of the physical world or the expectations that once weighed them down. They are at liberty to be with one another without fear or loss. The English ball also serves as a stark contrast to the life they led. The lavishness of the event stands in sharp opposition to the grim, war-torn reality Spencer faced as a soldier. Alexandra, too, had to endure her own battles, fighting not just for Spencer's love, but also for her autonomy in a world that sought to define her. The ball is a visual cue to remind us of everything that was stolen from them, of everything they deserved, but could never fully experience. And now, in death, they finally get to live out the dream they always held on to, dancing together under the stars, free from the burdens of war, family, and societal expectations. There's also an element of nostalgia tied to the ball. It's as if the scene itself is a dream, a reflection of what Spencer and Alexandra wanted their lives to be before tragedy struck. It taps into that universal longing we all share to escape from the weight of life's responsibilities and to find a moment of peace, of bliss, of connection. For these two characters, the ball represents the ultimate form of release. Freedom from the struggles and losses that defined their existence. It is a place where they are no longer victims of circumstance, but creators of their own destiny. And that, in itself, is incredibly powerful. But the most profound layer of symbolism comes when we consider that they're not merely reunited in the traditional sense. They are united in a world beyond death, a place where time no longer exists, where the rules of life are no longer in effect. It's here, in this timeless space, that Spencer and Alexandra are finally able to be together without the constraints of mortality. They're no longer battling against the forces that once kept them apart. Instead, they're free to live in this perfect, dreamlike moment. And in that moment, their love is the only thing that matters. The English ball, therefore, represents the idealized version of their relationship, one that was denied to them in life but made possible in death. It's a dream, a memory, a fantasy. But for Spencer and Alexandra, it's more than that. It's the realization that love is the ultimate force, one that cannot be extinguished even by death. In this scene, they are no longer bound by the limitations of time, place, or circumstance. They are free, and they are together. The English ball isn't just a physical setting. It's a spiritual one, a place where love transcends all barriers, even the greatest one of all, death. Next, we'll explore the deeper emotional weight of this scene, looking at how it affects not just Spencer and Alexandra, but the broader context of the 1923 narrative, and the way it redefines the concept of fate and destiny in the series. The English ball scene in 1923 Season 2 isn't just a spectacle of romance. It's the emotional apex of Spencer and Alexandra's tumultuous relationship, and it carries a deeper significance within the larger themes of the show. This reunion isn't merely about two people finding each other again after years of separation. It's about fate, destiny, and the powerful forces that shape our lives, often beyond our control. The ball is not just a celebratory moment. It's a profound commentary on how love, despite everything, endures through time and even death. From the very start of 1923, Spencer and Alexandra's love story has been doomed by the forces of the world around them. They are star-crossed lovers, not in the way of an ill-fated romance due to some tragic misunderstanding, but because the world itself constantly keeps them apart. Spencer, a man haunted by the horrors of war and the responsibilities of his family, can never seem to settle into the life he wants. Alexandra, on the other hand, comes from a world of privilege and social expectation, where love for her is often overshadowed by duty, propriety, and the rigid confines of family loyalty. Throughout the series, their love is consistently tested. They are never allowed to experience the simple joys of being together, whether it's the joy of a peaceful life or the luxury of spending time free from danger. Every step of their journey is filled with separation, obstacles, and the constant threat of loss. But the English ball, set in the afterlife, offers a startling and beautiful contrast to everything they've endured. It's the one place where they are free from the harsh realities that have defined their lives. And it allows us to see what their relationship truly means beyond worldly constraints. The emotional weight of this scene lies in the fact that Spencer and Alexandra have both already faced death. They've survived wars, illnesses, and the brutalities of life. But none of that prepared them for the finality of death itself. In their reunion, they are not just coming together again after separation. They are transcending their earthly struggles. Death, in the context of their story, is not an end but a liberation. For Spencer and Alexandra, it represents the release from all the external forces that kept them apart. And it's in this deathly reunion that they can finally experience the kind of love they were never able to enjoy in life. This leads to the deeper question of fate and destiny. Throughout 1923, the characters are frequently at odds with the forces of destiny, whether it's Spencer's sense of duty to his family, Alexandra's role in her aristocratic society, or the looming pressures of war and familial expectations. Spencer's decision to leave his family behind to fight in the war, and Alexandra's difficult choices as she navigates her family's expectations and her desire to be with Spencer, are all marked by the tension between personal desires and the greater forces shaping their lives. In the afterlife, these forces no longer exist. The concept of destiny no longer holds power over them. Spencer and Alexandra are free from the rigid paths that were set for them in life. And that freedom allows them to find each other in a way they never could have while living. The ball represents a kind of escape from fate's tight grip, offering them the one thing they never had, the chance to choose their own love on their own terms, without the interference of external forces. Momentarily, the world around them vanishes. They can embrace the uncomplicated, uninterrupted, and eternal love that was always meant to be. The reunion at the ball, though beautiful, is not just an emotional payoff for the audience. It is the conclusion of the show's bigger story about what it means to be truly free. Spencer and Alexandra's love has always been thwarted by the external pressures of their lives. However, in death, they are unrestrained in their love story. This raises an important point about the show's broader theme: what happens when the constraints of life and society no longer apply? Can love truly conquer all, even when we are no longer living? The English Ball suggests that in the face of everything that keeps us apart, time, death, and fate, love, in its purest form, remains unchanged and unbroken. As viewers, we are not just witnessing the reunion of two characters. We are witnessing a metaphor for the larger human condition. It's a look back on the things that separate us in life, like society, duty, war, and time. And the notion that love is one of the few things that endures in the end, even if it's in a form that transcends our understanding of life and death. The ball, then, isn't just a setting. It's a visual representation of the resilience of love. It is a moment of emotional release that connects with the audience, highlighting the emotional strength of a love that endures despite the trials and tribulations of life. But there is also an element of tragedy within the ball scene, as it reminds us of what Spencer and Alexandra have lost. Their reunion occurs too late, following death and war, after everything that has kept them apart. The ball becomes a moment of bittersweetness, where we can see more than just their love's beauty, but the deep sadness of everything that came before. It's a reunion that offers closure, but also reinforces the idea that life and love are fleeting, and sometimes even the deepest connections are subject to the whims of fate. In the next section, we will examine the legacy of Spencer and Alexandra's relationship, looking at how their love story influences the broader 1923 narrative, and how their union in the afterlife connects with family, survival, and legacy that are central to the Dutton family saga. The English ball scene is far more than just the reunion of two star-crossed lovers. It serves as a poignant reflection on the larger themes of family, survival, and legacy that have defined the 1923 series. The love story of Spencer and Alexandra, set against the backdrop of societal pressures, war, and family loyalty, has always been tragic. But in its final moments, it becomes emblematic of the broader struggles the Dutton family faces throughout the saga. Their love, even in death, speaks to the central conflict that drives the Dutton narrative: the tension between personal desires and the brutal survival instinct that governs the family's actions. At the heart of the 1923 story is the idea of survival, and the Duttons have always been portrayed as survivors. From John Dutton's struggles to preserve the Yellowstone Ranch's land and legacy, to Spencer's fight in the trenches during World War I, the Dutton family has been shaped by adversity. This survival theme encompasses both physical and emotional aspects. Spencer's relationship with Alexandra, marked by separation and sacrifice, reflects the emotional cost of survival. His wartime experiences and obligations to his family continually force him to make impossible choices. Between his love for Alexandra and his sense of duty to his family and country. Likewise, Alexandra's fight for Spencer and her desire to be with him, in the face of her family's societal expectations, show the emotional toll of being part of a world where personal desires are often overshadowed by duty and social standing. But Spencer and Alexandra's love also becomes a reflection of the survival struggles that are integral to the Dutton family's saga. Despite the tragic end of their love story, mirrors the larger struggle of the Duttons to survive. to safeguard their land and preserve the legacy of their family. Their emotional journey highlights the sacrifices the Duttons have made over generations, often at the expense of their personal happiness and peace. For Spencer, his bond with Alexandra is a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the heart's desires cannot be easily suppressed. His reunion with Alexandra in the afterlife symbolizes the ultimate act of survival. Survival in the face of death. It is an emotional legacy that continues the Dutton family's fundamental values: love, loyalty, and sacrifice. Spencer's return from the war was always portrayed as a pivotal moment in the series. However, his afterlife reunion with Alexandra elevates this subject to a spiritual level. In the physical world, Spencer was forced to choose between war. He chose to fight for his country, leaving Alexandra behind and sacrificing their future together. Yet in death, this sacrifice is transformed into a profound act of endurance. His ability to finally be with Alexandra in the afterlife represents the idea that some things are worth surviving for, even if it means enduring pain and loss. The notion that they meet in the afterlife, free from the burdens of their earthly lives, speaks to the Dutton family's unyielding fight for the future, no matter the cost. The relationship between Spencer and Alexandra also touches on the Duttons' generational legacy. In the world of 1923, the Duttons are defined by the sacrifices they make to ensure the survival of their family and their land. Spencer's actions, both in the war and in his relationship with Alexandra, set the stage for the next generation's struggles. His decision to name his son after his late brother John Dutton is symbolic of this legacy. Though Spencer and Alexandra's son is not directly part of the Yellowstone timeline, their actions have ramifications that ripple through generations. Their story is not one of forgotten love, but one that impacts the Dutton family's future, whether through blood or spirit. Spencer's survival through the brutalities of war, his emotional battles with loyalty and love, and his eventual union with Alexandra in the afterlife signify the endurance of family ties that define the Dutton legacy. The choice of names also holds significant weight in the context of the Dutton family saga. By naming their son John a name that carries the heavy weight of Dutton history, Spencer and Alexandra suggest that even in death, their legacy is tied to the future of the family. Though their son never appears in Yellowstone as it stands, the naming reinforces the deep connection between their love story and the broader themes of inheritance, lineage, and survival that underpin the series. Spencer and Alexandra's reunion at the ball carries a deeper emotional resonance. While their love story is framed by loss and tragedy, it also emphasizes the endurance of familial bonds, loyalty, and love across generations. The ball, in its dreamlike perfection, is not just a personal victory for them. It symbolizes the Dutton family's unyielding struggle to survive, endure, and protect what matters most. Their love, once thwarted by the cruel realities of life, now flourishes in the afterlife, becoming a symbol of the Duttons' unbreakable spirit, one that will echo through generations. In the final section, we examine the broader implications of the English ball scene within 1923 and how it contributes to the evolving narrative of love, family, and sacrifice. The reunion of Spencer and Alexandra might seem like a peaceful resolution, but it raises important questions about the price of survival and the cost of loyalty to both family and love. The English ball scene in 1923's Season 2 finale does more than reunite Spencer and Alexandra. It carries the thematic weight of the entire series, encapsulating its central question: what is the price of survival? And what do we sacrifice for loyalty and love? In a story where personal desires constantly clash with duty, their journey reflects the ultimate tension between the heart's wishes and the harsh realities of survival. Their bittersweet reunion provides a final commentary on the cost of perseverance, the depth of familial ties, and the unyielding endurance of love. Throughout 1923, the Dutton family grapples with survival, often at the expense of happiness and personal relationships. For Spencer, the war was not just a physical battle but an emotional one. He fought not only for his country, but for the survival of the Dutton legacy, separating himself from Alexandra and the life they could have had. For Alexandra, her struggle was equally profound, facing societal expectations and the pain of separation. Their story, like so many in 1923, illustrates the immense cost of survival. Spencer and Alexandra's love is laced with sacrifice, not just for their own survival, but to protect the people and ideals they cherished. Their reunion at the ball symbolizes love's ultimate triumph, transcending survival and death. The cost of loyalty is also explored through their relationship. Spencer's sense of duty to family and country led him to choices that kept him from Alexandra. His loyalty as a soldier meant he could never fully embrace the life he wanted with her, a theme that runs deep in 1923, where the Duttons repeatedly faced decisions demanding loyalty to family, land, and legacy. The question of loyalty is never easy in 1923, as it often demands profound personal sacrifice. Spencer's decision to leave Alexandra and fight in the war is the ultimate expression of this loyalty, even at the cost of losing the one he loves.